Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today in this we're going to tell you about an array in C++. So let's get started with simple definition. Basically, an array is a data structure that stores a fixed-size sequential collection of elements of the same type. It allows storing multiple values in one single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. Where arrays are used. Arrays are used in storing data collections, marks of students, ages of people, prices of products, etc. Instead of creating many variables, all values go in one array. Tables and matrices, used in mathematics, statistics, and graphics. Example, a timetable, game board like chess, or a multiplication table. Data structures. Arrays are the base for many advanced structures like stacks, queues, heaps, hash tables. Graphics and images. Images are stored as 2D arrays of pixels. Example, a 1080 by 720 picture equals 2D array of colors. Real-life applications. Student record systems, marks, roll numbers. Storing scores in games. Managing product lists in shopping apps. Audio-video processing. Arrays store sound and frame data. Let's learn how to use an array in C++. Hashtag include iostream and using namespace std are there to handle input and output. The int main function properly starts a program. Array of 3 friends' names. This is a comment for humans to read, explaining that the next line of code creates an array to store friends' names. This line creates an array of text strings named friends. It can hold 3 names, which are initially set to Ollie, Sarah, and John. This is another comment explaining that the following code will print out each friend's name. This line prints the text "My friend R" to the screen and then moves the cursor to the next line. This starts a loop. It creates a counter variable I starting at 0. The loop will continue as long as I is less than 3, and after each cycle, I is increased by 1, I++. This is the body of the loop. For each cycle, it prints a line. It combines the text friend, the current cycle number, starting from 1, a colon, and then the corresponding name from the friends array. Finally, it moves to the next line. Return 0. This line ends a main function and returns a value 0 to the operating system, signaling that the program finished successfully. Now compile and run a program. The program successfully executed and displayed the list of friends from the array. Then, it lists each friend with number. Friend 1 is Ollie. Friend 2 is Sarah. Friend 3 is John. Characteristics of arrays. Same data type. All elements in an array must be of the same type, e.g., all integers, all floats. Fixed size. Once declared, the size of an array cannot be changed. Int marks 5 means array can store exactly 5 values. You can't add a 6 students mark unless you declare a bigger array. Indexed access. Each element can be accessed using its index position. Index usually starts from 0. Marks 0, 85 first student's mark. Marks 278 third student's mark. Index starts at 0, not 1. Continuous memory. Array elements are stored in contiguous side-by-side memory locations. Efficient access. If you want marks 3, computer directly jumps to it. No searching needed. Access time is always constant 01, no matter how big the array is. Why use arrays? When we have many values of the same type, like numbers, marks, or ages, it's difficult to create a separate variable for each one. For example, in an equals 10, B equals 20, C equals 30, D equals 40, E equals 50. Here we had to write 5 different variables just to store 5 numbers. This is time-consuming and hard to manage. Back-end index pointing right using an array makes it easier. We can store all these values under one name. In array 5 equals 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now all numbers are kept inside one array. There are many advantages of arrays like easy to manage multiple values of the same type, saves memory instead of many separate variables, easy to access elements using index, useful for loops and bulk operations like sorting, searching, etc. There are some limitations of arrays. Fixed size. Once you declare an array, its size cannot be changed. In array 5, this array can only hold 5 values. If you want to store 10 numbers later, you cannot increase its size. You must create a new bigger array. Aim type only. Arrays can only store values of the same data type. In array 3 equals 10, 20, 30, but this is not allowed. In ARR 3 equals 10, 20. If you need to store different data types like name, age, grade, you can't use a single array. You'll need structures or classes. Wastage of memory is when an array is declared bigger than needed. Let's explore another example. Hashtag include iostream and using namespace std are there to handle input and output. The int main function properly starts the program. Here is where we create our array. We are declaring an integer array named numbers with a size of 5. We are also initializing it with the values 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. This line prints the text array elements to the screen and then moves the cursor to the next line. It's a heading for our output. This starts a for loop. It's a control statement that lets us repeat a block of code. I equals 0 initializes a counter variable I to 0. I less than 5 is a condition. The loop will continue as long as I is less than 5. I++ increments the counter I by 1 after each iteration. This is the body of the loop. It executes once for each value of I from 0 to 4. It prints text like element 0 is equal to 10, then element 1 is equal to 20, and so on. return 0. This statement ends a main function and returns a value 0 to the operating system, which signals that the program finished successfully. Now compile and run a program. The output reads, element 0 equals 10, element 1 equals 20, element 2 equals 30, element 3 equals 40, element 4 equals 50. This tells us the program created an array with 5 elements and printed each one to the screen. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my video.